Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Jeff Crilley Show. Philip Silvestri is a name that you need to know because he is the publisher and owner of the Plano Profile. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you for having me, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, when did you buy the magazine?
That happened somewhat recently. We took over in August of last year.
What was it about the Plano Profile that attracted you? I know you've been in the media before, but what was it about this magazine?
Community. If I had to sum it up in one word, that's it. What really made us passionate about is the sense of community that Plano Profile has fostered over its really robust 33-year history. And it's been an institution of the Plano community for the entire time, and it's seen Plano grow from a little suburb to what is easily described as its own major city. Nothing to be ashamed of. It's a city to be proud of, and Plano Profile is going to be there for the next exciting chapters of it.
Well, I think you're a very wise man because Plano is always on one of the most livable cities in America list. It's a great, vibrant community. You have large Fortune 500 companies that are moving in, and to be able to tell the stories that are out there, give us some examples of some changes or innovation that you've brought to the publication since you arrived.
Well, we feel that the biggest change, I think, is to expand the spectrum and the reach of the Plano Profile. We obviously continue working very hard on the print publication, which is the staple. And as much as people may say print is dead, really it is not. Study after study really show that it has more of an impact than ever before. But what we're now adding to the mix are the other components, the enhancing the email, enhancing the web, and doing other activities that help bring the community closer together. All of our focus is really revolving around that necessity that helps to inform people about what their neighbors are doing, to be the cheerleader for everything that's positive and that's happening, and to bring that all together in an ongoing narrative that makes people feel proud about what's going on.
Now, you're not a newbie to the publishing world. Tell us your journey. What did you do before owning the Plano Profile?
Well, I actually started out in web development and kind of stumbled into publishing about 10 years ago. I launched my first magazine down in the Dominican Republic, and that was after a little bit of resistance because I was one of those voices saying, well, print, who's doing print nowadays? It's all about pixels, come on. So it took me a little while, and then I kind of stumbled into it and found a real passion for seeing the results, being able to get the feedback from people who really felt connected to it. And since then, we've launched a couple of other publications down the Dominican Republic. But we're really excited to be here in Plano now to be able to take over this institution and take it to the next level.
Let's talk about your philosophy in terms of the brand and the style of journalism. I know that when you talk about journalism these days, it's all over the map, from sensational and tabloid to traditional and feel good. What's your approach?
Well, we love the sensational. You'll never guess what the mayor did this week. No, actually. Mayor's doing a great job, by the way.
He is.
As is the rest of the city. We want to our style of journalism is to really help bring out the different voices of the community. I guess we're the soapbox on which people can tell their own story. We don't need to sensationalize it because we're not competing with newspapers. We're not competing with all the other noise that's out there. When you see that media outlets are doing that, it's really because there is so much noise going on out there. Our philosophy is very different. Our philosophy is you care what your neighbors are doing. You care what the company down the street is doing. You care what these big corporations are doing. And in our perspective, it could be a huge corporation, but it's filled with your neighbors.
Yes.
So it's not this faceless company that's moving in. It's who's going to be living next door to me, whose kids are going to go to the school next to with my kids. It's getting to know that from a different perspective. So that's I guess that sums it up.
Well, let's talk about the advertisers, because it is a for-profit paper, as is the television media here in Dallas. What do you say to advertisers when you're presenting this opportunity?
Well, we hope to be we're working with advertisers that some of which have already been advertising successfully in Plano Profile for the last 33 years. But on the other hand, we're beginning to get new clients that are very excited about what we're doing because we're taking that commitment a step further. We're not just bringing their brand and their company into people's homes, but we're finding innovative ways to connect them, tell their stories in fun ways that people feel that, okay, well, if I've got the choice of 5 different companies, well, which one am I going to choose? It's the one that I feel the most related to. So our goal is really to help them make that connection and then bring people together, close the circle using 360 degrees.
We're going to bring my daughter, Sarah. She is a Plano resident as well.
Oh, I'd love to hear this.
Hearing this topic, and I am a proud Plano resident and also represent the millennial generation, where we're finding all of our news on our phones and on the internet. However, I really do respect those papers and other publications, so I want to find out a little bit more about where I can find this proud Plano profile and pick one up for myself.
Well, we have it distributed around the city in lots of locations, but the majority of it goes directly to people's homes. Now, we are always tweaking our distribution, but if any of our listeners in the Plano area are interested in receiving it, please just reach out to us. Go to planoprofile.com, send us an email, and we'd love to put you on our list. For us, one of the most important things is to have that engagement with our community. So that's it's our privilege to be able to get it to everybody. And by the way, yes, I completely feel the same way about using my cell phone and my laptop and everything else to be able to get my news. But what we found is what differentiates us is what's on the website is the news. It's all the good stuff that's happening in leveraging the immediacy of the web. But what you see in print is something that can last longer. Almost 80% of our readers keep the magazine for a month or longer, which is incredible nowadays.
Absolutely.
So we're incredibly proud of that. And we want that material to be there, something that you can reference for weeks, months, and in some cases, years.
I'm a big fan of the old style of, clipping it out and putting it on my refrigerator to not forget. Are there any events that you promote in the Plano Profile?
As a matter of fact, we have a calendar of events that we have in each issue. And we, on the website, also have a calendar of what's happening in Plano.
That's fantastic. And it's the planoprofile.com?
It's planoprofile.com.
And what about the residents? Do you highlight any resident stories?
Constantly.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is really that's really what we love to do, is find these stories of people who are doing interesting things. And sometimes it's about what they're doing, or sometimes it's about what nobody knows that they're doing. That's really the fun thing. And it's just to be able to talk about with everybody about what they're really passionate about and share that with everyone, because my gosh, I mean, Plano is just filled with the most amazing, passionate, wonderful people. It's incredible. And
It
to
really
be able to share
is.
those stories is just wonderful.
Well, I encourage all of our listeners right now that if you live in Plano, how do they reach out to you to get their story covered?
Shoot us an email, contribute@planoprofile.com.
Contribute@planoprofile.com. I might need to submit myself and my son Caleb. We've lived for a little while, and I'm a huge fan of Plano. And out of all the places that I could live, I wanted to pick a place where still had that homey feel, but the schools are fantastic. And So,
What are some of the stories that you've told since you've owned the publication that you're proud of? That we found this story, and whether it would be a cover story or just a story in the magazine.
Oh my, that's
Putting you
tough one.
on the spot here.
Pretty much. I don't. That's really tough to say. I mean, we've had a lot of fun stories. I mean, on this issue, we covered the art pack of Plano, just three gentlemen who have been staples of the downtown Plano.
oh, cool.
And they've had other jobs, and now they've really blossomed their art, their love of art, into a new gallery that I really encourage you to visit. It's a 1020 gallery. But I mean, we have so many stories from people who are in the arts, all the charities. I mean, the philanthropy is just such an important part of the community. It's wonderful to be able to help spread the word on what they're doing. And then you have little quirky things. Like, again, in this issue, we did you know that you can do a llama walk in
I did not know
in
that.
Plano? I know.
You can.
Yes. And I got the chance to do it. And it was just so much fun to be able to walk around with a couple of llamas, complete strangers in a park, and you'd never know how much you can bond over a llama. Let me tell you, which are the nicest animals.
What are the
My son
elements
would
of a
love it.
good story? I mean, how do you, if somebody's listening right now and they think I think I've got a story. What are some elements of a good story? I mean,
That's a great question.
Is it a novelty? Is it a rags to riches? Is it an inspiration? What makes a good story?
It's there. I don't think we have a formula. We just want to listen, and if somebody in our community thinks that something is a good story, we'll ask a couple of questions and dig it deeper and see if it fits. At the end of the day, what really makes the Plano Profile work is that the content resonates with the readers. So as long as we're finding something that is going to really resonate with our readers, that's what we want to publish. So we've got no shortage of material to work with.
And one of the things that impresses me about you and your lovely bride, and you're about to be a father. Let's give a shout out to your bride, honey. He'll be home shortly.
Absolutely, dear.
Is it you two are very invested in the community? It's you live here, you work here, you play here, and you're curious and you're involved in the community. You probably attend multiple events a week. Talk about that and how important that is for a publisher to be invested in the community.
Well, you can't really represent the community unless you're really involved in the community. I think it's if we're going to be the magazine of the community, we have to be in there all the way. You can't really take a detached approach and just say, well, this happened, send us a press release and we'll cover it.
Right.
You really have to get in there and hear the stories. If you go to a fundraiser, it's not just about what the fundraiser is telling you, it's what the people there are telling you.
Right.
And it's incredibly important for us to be there and to be part of it. And also it gives us the opportunity to sometimes connect our clients with members of the community, connect other members of the community, which is really what we're passionate about as well, is how do we do our part to bring the community closer together?
And there's something, I guess we're out of time. I'm getting the wrap it up signal. We'll have to have you back. Thank you for listening to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you for having me.
KFXR.